Wait, oh. We starting already? Hey, CJ! Hey, where's CJ at? Oh. We starting? Alright, give me 5 minutes. Wait, hey, come on. Yeah, we starting. Hey, go. I'm up.
What's up, pedestrians, and welcome back to another episode of Word on the Street. I'm one of your hosts, Deja Peters.
I'm another host, Cedric Joe.
And I'm another host, Noah Abbott.
And today we have another special guest with us. I'm going to let her introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Zoie Brogdon. I'm an equestrian, and I'm really happy to be here. This is great.
Well, thank you for coming on. We love it that you're here.
Thank you.
I'm really excited about this episode, guys. I'm really excited about this one.
Oh, so you said you are an equestrian.
I am.
And for you all that don't know what that is, can you explain that to them?
Totally. I'm a person who likes to ride horses. I compete in the English arena, so there's a kind of a difference between Western and English. I kind of go over jumps, and for Western people, they're more in the saddle, and that's what you kind of see in the movies, the cowboys. But I'm a cowboy myself because, I'm with the horse all the time.
Word. That's cool. So when did you, know that equestrian is what you wanted to be?
That kind of took some time, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like when I first started, I was just going to summer camps, right? So my mom was like, oh, I have to have something for her to do. It was like close to school, so everything was kind of starting to shut down and go out, and she had to go back to work. So she was like, oh, let me just find something that's close to my job. Yeah. She put me in this riding camp in Burbank, and instantly I was like, wow, this is really fun. Like a lot of kids can be really nervous around bigger animals. They're like, oh my gosh, they're so big and so scary. But instantly I was like, oh, this is gonna be fun, because I'm a big animal person. So when I was seeing the horses, I was like, oh, this is gonna be amazing. So I was running all over the place. Just every time I was riding, I was just having so much fun. And the lady at the camp, after one day, talked to my mom and said, oh, you're in trouble now. And my mom was like, oh my gosh, what'd she do now? Because I was a rambunctious kid. But she told my mom, she really likes this. This is kind of her thing. So you gotta keep letting her do this. This is her thing. So over time, my mom had to go and find different camps. She found this one place called Compton Junior Equestrians. And from there, I was enrolled into their summer camp. And then over time, I got to be a part of their Monday program. So after schools, I would go work in their Monday program and learn to ride a bit more, be around the horses more. And then little by little, I just really fell in love with the sport and then started to compete. And years later, here I am.
Wow.
That's a great
And I've actually been to one of her equestrian rides. And
Yep.
It's I like it.
Thank you.
It's really fun to be a part of. I feel real luxurious, the equestrian rides. But do you have your own horse or your own horse? So
Yeah, I do.
Tell us a little bit about that.
So I have a horse. His name is Emilion. That's his show name.
Oh, wow.
But his bar name is Ninja. So that's kind of what I call him. That's his casual name. And yeah, he's my best friend. I love him.
That's cool. That's cool.
And how long have you had this horse?
Ooh, I would say since 2017.
Wow.
So when I first got him, I actually didn't like him when I first got him. We had a little bit of beef, I'm not gonna lie to you.
Wow.
So I wasn't the best rider because, you gotta learn a little bit, you gotta evolve. And he was just so much horse for me. I was like, my God, just chill out, dude. I'm just trying to go for a little jump. And he would freak out, he would toss his head, he would run away, and I was like, I can't do this. I was really overwhelmed by this horse. But my trainer's like, well, there's not a lot of other horses, just keep working at it. And I was like, fine. So over time, I kept riding, and I got on him more and more. Yes. And we started to build a bond. We would fight a little bit, and then I'd realize what he likes, and he realized what I like, and it really merged into a beautiful relationship. And we learned each other, and now we have a really good bond. And that's kind of what helps me be successful. Successful. I'm able to ride this horse because of our bond.
Okay, so was Emilion or Ninja, was he chosen for you, or did you walk in and say look around and think, maybe I can ride that one, maybe? How does that process go?
Well, getting horses is kind of a process in itself. Thankfully, through the Compton Cowboys, they are able to bring in horses semi-consistently for us to try out. I have other girls that ride with me that also are looking for horses. We thankfully found a good match for one of my other teammates, Morgan, and we're still looking for one for Adrena, but we've had donations from other people such as Will Simpson. He was actually one that donated one of my first competition horses, Helio, and Helio was just incredible. Now he's a little older because, I grew up and he grew up and he's still working with little kids now, but for me, that was kind of okay, I really get to train on this really good horse and get better through him. And then now a new horse comes along and he's really good. So I got to train with him, and then that just ended up being the one that I really connected with. So from there, I got to know him, and then that became kind of my horse. Later on, I had the great opportunity to buy him, and now he's truly my own. I'm so happy about that. That's the best thing that could have ever happened to me, to really get that horse and have him be my own.
How many people can say they own a horse? Like, that's
Not many.
How much does that cost? I'm pretty sure everybody wants to know. Like,
I ain't gonna lie. I want no horse now.
That was not mine. I didn't even want to ask.
Got it. You know what? So we gonna
Yeah, we gonna talk about that.
We're gonna leave that where it is. We're gonna leave that where it is. Okay, so you said that you work with the Compton Cowboys.
I do.
By chance, do you know? I think it's Randy.
Yeah, Randy Savvy.
That's okay. That's crazy.
Listen to his music.
Oh yeah, most definitely. That's crazy. What's so wild about that is like I have my cousin is his cousin, so we kind of it's like small world, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's crazy. But so when you said you started at Compton Cowboys, right? How did that development go? Like, what goes into the training of an equestrian?
It always starts out with the love of horses or the love of animals and being in that space. If you don't have the bond and if you don't have kind of the want to do it, you're not really going to go far. Even if you're put in the space, it's like, well, is it really fun for you? That's what's really the core of the sport, having fun. Because whenever you do any sport, whether that be basketball, soccer, tennis, you got to love what you do to keep doing it. So you got to start off with that good foundation of loving what you do. From there, finding a horse that you really bond with and connect with. Everything starts off the saddle. You're on the ground, you're on your feet. You think when you're horseback riding, you got to be on the horse to really do it and be a part of it. But all the work happens when you're on the ground and just talking and being with them. At the Compton Equestrian's Ranch, we were shoveling poop, we were grooming them, we were learning anatomy. It was like, oh my gosh, when do I actually get to ride? But that was kind of the last thing in our day. We actually got to get on the horse. We have to first know as much as we can about them, be in their habitat, clean after them, because who else is going to do that?
Right. Yeah.
No, I remember I actually rode a horse before.
Nice.
And I think I was around like 9-10 years old.
That's when I started.
And that experience was fun. I'm not gonna lie, but
Good to hear.
just the environment we were in. I think where we rode the horses, it was like up the Hollywood, like by Hollywood Mountain and stuff like that. And it was like this cliff that we were riding next to. My mom actually had to get off because it was like the cliff was right there. Like,
I got my limits.
Have y'all rode horses before?
Yeah, I rode a horse before. I rode a horse before. Actually, when I was much younger, I was in the Bill Pickett rodeo. I had to like catch some calves. I had to like ride a calf.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Rodeo. I was much younger. I'm not like into it right now.
Oh yeah, I've ridden a horse, but I haven't done it like that.
Oh, he was tired from
It was
Cowboy.
much different in person because I'm watching like the rodeo activities on TV, thinking it's cool, but it gets real like.
Oh yeah.
Like it's like that's easy until you actually.
They get nothing to play with, like a bull, all that.
It's dangerous.
I can imagine.
Aside from what you're doing now, have you ever done or thought about doing other sports or activities?
I feel like I've tried out every single sport in the book. I tried basketball. I did. I'm not that good. I actually did break somebody's ankles. It was not good. I went up for a jump shot and came down. I came down on a purpose. It was not good. And that was kind of like, okay, maybe this isn't for me. I don't have the best coordination for that. We tried tennis. I couldn't get the hang of this. Like, balls coming at me too fast. I didn't have the reaction for it. It wasn't for me. I tried soccer. And my dad told me the story where I was actually like doing a competition and as we were playing, I just stayed on one side of the field. And my dad's like, why aren't you running over there? Go chase out the ball, come on. I'm like, they're just gonna come right back. What's the point? So they're like, okay, this is not for her either. But then putting me in horseback riding, I was like, oh, this is fun. And that's when it's like, this is what she's gonna do.
Soccer, that's a difficult sport.
Yeah.
I played soccer before in middle school, and they put me at goalie. I think I got like 13 goals.
13?
Oh my God.
Like scored on you, like or blocked.
Yeah, the balls was coming a little too fast. I started dodging and stuff. I was like, this is not what we practice. I was like,
yo, hey, soccer is one of those sports that like your stamina has to be up there because you gotta run the whole time.
That's why I was at goalie. I was like, Coach, I ain't feel too big.
Like that's
Even me, I ran track before, and I was like, we only do a short distance. I'm not running laps. I'm so sorry.
that
100, 200.
200 is pushing it a little. 200 is pushing it a little.
They put me in a 4x4 once. I was like, oh my gosh, never again.
Number 400. I got asthma.
Like
You're doing that like running.
For real.
It starts out good, but that last 200 meters,
It's just, ooh, yeah, it's a stretch.
About tennis though, speaking back on tennis, King Richard, you were in Beyonce's video and she used the song. That's amazing.
Thank you.
Amazing. Make sure y'all go check that out.
Please do.
But tell us just a little bit about how that was, the film in progress and everything about that.
Totally. So kind of what it was, the Compton Cowboys actually told me about the opportunity. We've worked with Beyonce in the past. I was in the Daddy Lessons music video when I was a little bit younger. Yeah.
Yo,
and then I was actually riding a horse, but they still wanted equestrians for the shoot. So they contacted the Cowboys and they asked, hey, can we just have a couple of equestrians come out? We might have them ride. We actually had one of our girls ride a horse in the video. If you see at the beginning of the video, it's my friend London. She's on the horse. And then we're all standing next to her. I'm like, dang, I want to be her. I'm telling you, the amount of times we were walking back and forth just to get the perfect shot.
And she was riding the horse, so she ain't have to do it.
Yup.
Okay.
That's funny because when I was watching the video, I was thinking like I'm pretty sure she was just chilling like on that horse, walking back and forth.
Yeah, she was so relaxed, and I'm like, girl.
Well, y'all got a good leg workout, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Got a good leg workout.
You can't be skipping leg day.
Right.
Nope, that was leg day.
Absolutely. But speaking of working out, what goes into the physicality of being an equestrian?
I tend to use I tend to ride a lot of horses. So that is kind of the workout for me. It's a lot of muscle memory.
Oh, yeah.
As much as you want to work off the ground, I kind of don't have a lot of time to be able to work out on my own. If I do ride the Peloton that I have at home, which is quite nice, but man, I'm sweating afterwards. And then to know I got to ride the next day, it's like, my legs, please give me a break.
Oh, yeah.
But for me, whenever I'm riding, I can ride around like 3 to 5 horses on the weekends and then 1 or 2 during the week. So I need to just kind of regulate kind of the relaxing part of it as much as, or like the recovery and relaxing part of it as much as the workout is. Yeah, it's a lot of legs, it's a lot of abs, and a bunch of arms, because sometimes horses can pull at you. So you're going to have really strong lats, so you're keeping really tight and stiff. And a lot of your kind of pushing power comes from your legs. So you want to have really strong legs to grip the horse so you don't fall off, and to push them forward. You kind of need that same little, you need the strength and muscles for it.
Yeah.
And then balance comes into it, and that's where your core has to be tight and strong.
Oh, yeah. So that's full body.
It's full body.
Oh, yeah. So yeah, you strong. You strong. You are strong. Yeah.
Do you ever feel pressure being like a black woman who's in a sport where it's like you don't see a lot of it?
A little bit, yeah. I feel like I found my place. I have my people with me all the time. At least when I'm going to competitions, I don't feel like I'm terribly alone unless I'm in the arena. This sport is already so individualized as is, especially because whenever I'm going into competition, it's just me and my horse against the clock. I'm not really focused on other people. But when it's that downtime where it's like, okay, I can walk around a little bit. I can go get some food. I can go hang out with people. When I'm looking around, I don't see as many people like me. Yeah. Every now and then, it's really nice. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's another one. But for the most part, it's like I'm with me and I'm with my barn. And I would love to see more representation out there. I mean, I look up to this beautiful rider, Mavis Spencer, and I get to see her quite often. But when it comes to the diversity of the sport, that's something I really think we can improve on. Yeah.
What's a message that you can give, to other black young women who want to get into a sport like this?
If you like it, do it. Yeah. If you really have the passion for something, do everything in your power to really pursue it. For me, it's a little bit of a struggle because it is financially taxing for people. But if you really like it, you can find a way. There's always programs out here to help you. For me, competitions are quite expensive because it's every small detail. It's like you have to pay for the horse's stall, the bedding, the feed, the actual show fees. Every class costs money. And I was able to be part of the Michael Nyhouse Scholarship, which is for a certain subsection of shows, the West Palm shows. And with them, I'm able to not really show for free, but in exchange for my time and effort for volunteer hours or working with them in their clinics, I'm able to ride at their shows.
Wow. So let's talk a little bit about your awards. I want to say, what was it, 18 first place awards? Is that it?
About. There's been more. Hold on, there's been more than that, but...
She put some respect on her name. Tell them the number. Tell them the number right now.
So
how many is it?
About your awards and a little bit about the things you've been nominated for and things of that nature. So can you tell us?
Totally. It's not really a nomination process because it's a matter of whether you choose to do the competition or not.
Okay.
dabbled my way in multiple arenas in English. So that means I'm either doing equitation, I tend to do jumpers, so the jump arena, there's also hunters, and for all these different arenas, there's different medals and different classes you can go into. For jumpers, it's usually more like individual championships. So you go into 3 classes within that week, and depending on how you place, it gives you a certain amount of points. And through those points is where you get those championships and reserve championships from. Very recently, I went to zones, so that's accumulative over the entire year. So no matter how many points you get, it's a matter, you're racing against everyone else to get as many points as possible or go to as many shows to rack up those points. I believe a first place is around 10 points and then it kind of trickles down from there. But having like those 10 points versus those like 5 points, those make a big difference. And a lot of people, they tend to show often. For me, I don't have the opportunity to show as often because there's so many more commitments such as school. So when I do get to go to a show, it's really that one show, and then I have to make the most of it to go into maybe 2 to 3 competitions. And thankfully, I place very well because I practice hard and I do a lot of at home work just to get to that level to be good enough to go in. And those points then add up. So this year, I was able to get individual gold in the year-end zone championships. And that, I don't know how many points it got for me to get there, but all those points racked up, and then I was finally on top at the end.
You did it.
All I can say
Thank
is when I win, all I know is you won. I don't know how, but
That's what I do.
You came out with the W and you won.
Thank you.
As
Shout out to that.
you should.
As you should.
As you
Yeah.
should.
I definitely gotta come check that out.
Oh,
That's
please do.
That's something that like I feel like I enjoy. Especially
I'm gonna get you guys back on a horse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Please.
Next episode?
Maybe, hey, y'all might see.
Never
You know what I'm saying?
You might be doing an episode.
Might be doing horse review.
Right.
Let
Part
us
two?
know, right? As a matter of fact, don't even let us know because we're gonna do it. Watch out. But okay, so not only are you an equestrian, but you are also a poet and an artist as
I
well,
am.
right? So let's talk about. Let's start with the art, right? What is your favorite medium? Like, do you like to sketch? Do you like to do oil, acrylic? Like, what is your favorite to do?
Totally. I'm a big acrylic person. I love painting. For me, I tend to work really quickly. So for acrylic, it dries fairly fast. I'm able to go over my mistakes if I have any. Everything's a really quick process. I tend to take like either a day to up to a week for any painting or drawing I do like work on, because I get bored of things really quickly. I feel like I got a little bit of ADHD. It's like out of sight, out of mind. But for me, like once I have an idea, I sketch it out really quickly, even if it's like a vague like just lines, 2 dots for eyes, and that's where I want things to be. That's the start, and then from there, I tend to use a lot of acrylic. I dabble in spray paint. I really like spray paint. I think the splatter effect is so pretty. I've used oils before, but it dries really slowly, so it takes a little bit more time to adjust to things. And I also am a big sketcher, so whenever I have free time, you can see me sketching. Even at the barn, I can bring a sketch pad just to do a little something.
For sure. Yeah, so what we're gonna do, you're gonna send me a picture of something you've done,
Oh, yeah.
and we're gonna put it somewhere for y'all to see.
Right here.
Yeah, bam.
Somewhere
Bam. You
It's
see
there.
it? I need you to etch it into
We
your
ain't
mind.
looking at it now, but we all see it.
It's here though.
We got the vision.
Cool. All right.
Nah, but I just want to point out you're actually a great speaker. for
Thank
one.
you.
And it sounds like you're very talented. You've accomplished a lot in your life. Do you think that everything you've done has helped you with the way you carry yourself and the way you talk and speak to people?
Definitely. I think horseback riding has really shaped kind of my being and how I hold myself and how I'm able to speak to people. I would say as much as I could be like a really rambunctious child, I was also very shy. It took me a while to get out of my shell and really kind of open up to people and be able to speak the way I do now. I would tend to kind of hide behind my mom's leg until she kind of pushed me and dropped me off. She's like, okay, I'm gone. And then once I make a friend, then I'm there and I'm really present. And for horses, they tend to calm me a little bit. So as much as I want to run around and go touch everything, it's like I found my horse, I found my partner, and I'm kind of just chilling with him. And I've learned to kind of control my actions. I've controlled how I speak and how I'm kind of held around people instead of rambling like I sometimes still do. But I tend to know how to kind of hold myself just much better because of them.
Now I will say that rambling, it's not called rambling if you're talking about something interesting. So you're good. You talk about some very interesting stuff. You talk about some very interesting stuff. But okay, so branching off into poetry, so obviously as a poet you have to be able to speak in front of people, right?
Totally.
So what do you draw inspiration from as a poet? Like, is it more pain? Is it more joy? There's a lot of different things you can draw from. So what do you do?
I draw from really everything and everywhere. I could look at something and be like, oh, that's really cool, and I'd write that in my notes app, and I could either write about that later or I can sketch something about it later. it's like those small things that like you're on a drive and you look out the window, it's like, oh, that's a really pretty picture, and you wish you could capture it. So I keep that picture in my mind and I use it later on for whatever piece of art I want to make out of it.
I wish I had that skill. Most I could do is some stick figures.
Hey, that's a start. That's a good start. I start with stick
Them
figures.
little circles, that little rectangle for the neck.
Stick figures could be art too. Just throwing it out there.
Right.
Abstract is a thing.
Yeah. That's a great skill that you have.
Yeah.
Great skill that you have. But not so. You're on a horse. That's a crazy animal. It can be very scary. You're taught not to stand behind a horse.
Yeah.
So can you tell us a little bit about like one of the scariest or worst like experiences you've had like with the horse?
Ooh. I've heard my fair share of really scary horse stories. I thankfully have never had something so traumatic and really bad. I've been bucked off a couple times. I've fallen off. Yeah, like a horse has jumped straight in the air and
just
I'm on the ground next minute.
Yeah, I would have been done after that. This ain't for
I'm
me.
fine. I'm fine. I've never broken any bones from riding. I've never hurt myself majorly. If anything, like I've rolled my ankle like walking to a horse.
Okay.
Like nothing bad.
So nothing actually involving the horse.
Right.
That's cool.
But there was one time. There's this one horse I'm riding at another barn, and I just thought she was so cool. And everyone tells me, "Oh, she's crazy. Be careful with her. Be careful." And they're like freaking me out. And I'm riding her. I'm like, "Oh, this is completely fine. Nothing's wrong." And I ride her a couple more times. I'm like, "What are you guys talking about? She's completely fine. She's a calm horse. I love her. She's amazing." And one day, she just decides to spin on me. I kid you not, jumps 20 feet in the air. I am hanging off the side of her neck. She's running to the other end of the arena. And oh my gosh, I was so shocked. I was freaking out. And I'm like, guys, get me off. And she just stops all of a sudden.
Oh, wow.
And I'm just on the side of her neck, like hanging off, like my whole body's contorted. And she's just like, she's calm. And I'm like, where did this come from? Where did all this energy come from?
She was testing you.
Oh, yeah.
She was trying to see if you could hang, and clearly you could. So
I have not fallen
I'd
off.
have gave her Adderall.
I feel like
I ain't
it.
got time for all that hyperness. She spin. I'm take this.
Yeah.
sit down, relax. Come on.
Now that takes a lot of trust though to be able to get on a horse and a lot of heart because that's the guts to be able to get on a horse. You never know what it can do.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Horses are dangerous animals. They have a mind of their own. They're not just machines. So you always have to be attentive and very careful around them.
I feel like anything really with a mind of its own is dangerous.
Yeah, it can be in there.
You never know.
There are dangers that come with all animals, essentially.
Yeah.
Like squirrels.
So
Squirrels can be dangerous.
Even nah, squares scare me. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, squirrels is real.
That's crazy.
Squirrels. They be running around crazy.
And they're supposed to be cute, but okay, why are we talking about squirrels? I brought it up. But anyways, so ma'am, Sports Illustrated.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
You was on there.
I was.
Can we talk about that? Like, first I'm gonna put it somewhere, so you're gonna see that.
See it right here.
You'll see it.
Y'all gonna see
Damn.
It's gonna be back. Back on
Bam.
the screen.
You see
Y'all
it?
see it, right?
That's big.
All right,
Yeah.
cool. All right. So, how did that process go? Like, were you just like maybe chilling at home one day and somebody reached out like, "Yo, can we put you on Sports Illustrated?" Like, how does that work for you?
Just like that.
Oh wow.
Just like that.
Just like that.
I'm chilling at home. My dad comes up to me and it's like, Sports Illustrated wants to interview. I'm like, huh? Sorry, what? Sports Illustrated. As in, all these bikini models on the front of this like cover, and I'm like, I'm not doing that, right? And he's like, no. But they, Power Onyx, wanted to come and interview me and put me in Sports Illustrated as one of their articles, as one of their featuring athletes in their article. And they did a whole video shoot with me. They came to my barn, and they kind of got to just learn a little bit more about me. They saw me ride a couple horses. They asked me a couple of interview questions, just like I'm doing now. And it was just a really cool process. I really enjoyed it.
How did that make you feel? Like when you found out, like
Sports Illustrated, that's like the top that's the top sports magazine. Like,
so many emotions. Please,
what was like?
can you explain them? The emotions you went through in that situation.
I'm a really like nonchalant person just by nature. A lot of things don't tend to sink in on me until much later. Like I'm still kind of processing the whole Oscars thing, and I'm like, oh yeah, I just kind of did that. Like it feels like something that just happened, like an everyday thing in my life. That sounds so spoiled to me.
No.
But
yeah, I actually, so in a way, I understand what you're saying. Because there are moments where I actually feel the same way, and it's like things don't surprise me. But for me, it's like I don't get surprised by these things because I felt like it was something that I was always going to achieve.
Like,
yeah,
supposed to be
so
there.
it's like, so when I do these things or when I achieve it, it's like I was going to do this. So,
Definitely.
yeah.
That's what I've been working hard to do. So
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's like,
So yeah, when you stepped in the room for that interview, that was the room you were meant to step in.
definitely.
So yeah, that's
good.
amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I need to process that for a second. You might not have processed.
I'm still kind of going through it. Not gonna lie to you.
Yeah. I mean, you've gone through so much, and you know, like how do you balance everything you're doing and with school and stuff like that?
I tend to live my life a little day by day. It's like I focus on those small things, so when I get to those bigger things, it's not like I have not done it. It's like I've worked little by little to get there, baby steps, you know? And for me, I kind of balance my schoolwork, do all my work ahead of time, even if I see that I have an assignment coming up, start to write a little bit about it earlier so it doesn't like show up on my doorstep like, oh my gosh, okay, it's due tomorrow. Like I take bits and pieces of what I have to do and work on them little by little until like it's kind of dissolved out of my life. And then when I get to bigger projects such as Sports Illustrated, then it's like, okay, I have the time to do this. I don't feel like I'm pressured to do anything because like, oh my gosh, I have homework to do. Oh my gosh, I have these other commitments because I've already worked a little bit on them.
That is a great process.
Nah, yeah, because I used to be behind and stuff. Like, I'm just worried about that later.
No, honestly, like
That's
that's
it's not there.
That's where the procrastination comes in. Like, oh, I'll get to it,
Yeah.
and then
And then you
a
don't
week
get
later,
to it.
yeah.
And the next day I'm gonna get to it. And you don't get
You
to
keep
it.
saying tomorrow, but tomorrow is
Yeah.
tomorrow, and then
You gotta
Exactly.
handle that
That is actually like a very, honestly, very mature way to go about things because
you.
I'm still trying to figure out how to do that, honestly.
Yeah.
So can we talk after we can
Oh, definitely.
give
Yeah,
some
I'll give you
lessons
my
or something like that? Yeah, for sure.
And are you homeschooled or?
I go to school in person. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, see? Yeah, that was the challenge for me, like doing everything. And I'm already a procrastinator. I'm so that sounds so bad. But I'm a person who I'll wait, but I'll still get it done.
Yeah.
Like,
And that's
so-
what makes you wait again, because you.
Yeah, because it's like I know I can do it. So it's like I don't rush myself. I don't like putting pressure on myself or anything.
Same
so it's
here.
like if it's something that I know I can do and I don't have to do it right now, I'm not gonna do it at all. Like,
Yeah, I feel that.
yeah.
I'm trying to get myself out of that mindset. I still can
Yeah.
procrastinate a little bit, but I just know it's like this is gonna bite me in the butt if I wait a little bit too long. I know
No.
I can do it and I have the skill set to do it, but why rush myself last minute when I can do it kind of now and get it over
Yeah.
with?
That
And
takes
that was
discipline.
one of my things for 2022. That's why I wanted to not procrastinate.
Not yet,
That was
facts.
one of the things I didn't want to do.
How's that going for you? Is
It's-
it working?
It's kind of, I guess it is working.
A little bit?
Cool,
Yeah,
we like that.
a little bit.
Oh, yeah, I mean, should it work for me?
Yeah.
I'm finished with high school, y'all. I don't know if I said that before, but I'm finished.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Yes,
appreciate it.
you got a graduate over
Yeah.
here.
At 16, by the way. You know.
Oh, yeah.
I'm 17 now.
Go ahead, talk about it.
Finished at 16, so yeah.
For sure. Yeah, that takes an immense amount of discipline.
Procrastination, no procrastinating 2022.
Yeah.
But I did earlier hear you say something about, the Oscars or something
Yeah.
that you were in. So what was that like? Like, what, can you explain more of that?
Yes, I can. I was in Beyonce's, you know the movie King Richard, right?
Yes.
It was a story about Venus and Serena and about kind of their upbringing and how the father played a huge role in kind of their start. So Beyonce made a beautiful song called Be Alive, and it was a song that played in the movie, and it was nominated.
Okay.
And they wanted kind of a couple horseback riders to be in the video. So they called the Cowboys. It was like, hey, can you guys bring a couple of your riders down? One of my friends, London, she was the person actually riding the horse, but I was next to the horse and I was helping out, and we were all just walking in our neon yellow tennis ball outfits a little bit. And from there, I was able to be a part of the video, really see the production and the filming. All the dances were incredible. Oh my gosh, beautiful. And to be there and see her in person, I was freaking out. I was having my little fangirl moment. I was like, oh my gosh, she's over there. And I waved at her, she waved back, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's Beyonce.
Wow.
But it was such a cool and incredible experience. I'm so grateful.
Wow, but you also have a documentary also.
I do.
Zoie going pro, right? Zoie
It's a GoPro documentary for
Okay.
Black people do.
Wow.
So I worked with Afropunk, and they had GoPro kind of help make a documentary a little bit, and they wanted to highlight like a Black voice. So I'm an equestrian in the community. I want to say like kind of one of few, but they wanted to kind of highlight my voice and kind of seeing that Black people do other things besides kind of what we see in our media and our stereotypes and kind of the norms of what we see. And equestrian is kind of outside of that field. So they wanted to bring in a Black equestrian and see how that can kind of make light in the world.
Wow. Because you don't see too many equestrians in the inner city.
No,
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's why it's such a big deal. Like, well, for me, like, just knowing you and knowing what you do and you know what you've accomplished that's huge.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're really making history.
Honestly, yeah.
Honestly.
I hope so.
Most definitely.
You're making history.
Yeah,
really.
no, for real.
Really.
Most definitely are. But how would you say that being Black in a spaces and occupied by very many Black people, how has that propelled you forward? Like, would you say that it's like, well, it's open doors. Mm-hmm. So how would you say that that's like motivated you? What part of it has made you feel like, okay, yeah, this is why I'm doing it, and I feel good doing it, and this is what I do?
Actually, for me, I don't tend to use kind of my skin tone as a way to propel me forward in a lot of things. I tend to just have it be, this is me, this is what I'm doing. Whether I'm Black or other, I'm still me, I'm still Zoe.
Right.
So for me, I use kind of, I'm Zoe as my mentality to just go and do whatever makes me happy. And for horseback riding, that makes me happy. So for me, I'm just having fun. I'm looking at just having fun. There has been struggles and challenges that come just because of the person I am. But I tend to not look at it as such a big blockade in my life. It's more of like, it's a part of me, embrace it all.
You're jumping over it.
I'm jumping over it.
Yes.
Y'all hear that was an equestrian reference.
So,
Y'all got it.
I don't know if you touch base on this, but how often, so you practice, what is it, every day?
I practice around 4 days a week.
4 days.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how long are practices?
Ooh, it depends on how many are riding that day. For me on the weekends, I ride at 2 different barns. We're kind of working on a third right now. So there would be 4 at one at another, and hopefully soon, 2 at another. So do that math. Too many.
Football, basketball.
Man, that's all combined. That's a whole.
That's a day.
And you
Right.
like you said, balancing everything. You still have school. You still manage to do this great art that you do also.
Thank you.
That
And then
shit's crazy.
on the weekdays, it tends to just be around 1 or 2. I try to minimize that so I do have time to work on my school and do other things. For me, my school day ends at 3, so the sun will go down at a certain point. If we don't have the lights on in the arena, I'm not able to actually ride. So to be at the barn, I have to utilize daylight, try to be there, try to be as present and get as much done in as little amount of time as possible.
Wow. And where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? In the next 5 years, and what are some goals that you have, that you want to achieve?
Like I said earlier, I kind of live day by day. I kind of just let things come my way and see what happens. I hope to be in college. I really want to go to college. I hope to be on the East Coast. Ooh.
Do you have any dream colleges like?
Little bit. Brown and Dartmouth are
Okay.
big in my eyes, and Stanford as well.
Okay, Stanford.
But as long as I'm able to continue writing, that would be incredible. I hope to be able to continue writing throughout my college career, in life. I really hope to keep this in my life because it's fun for me. I enjoy it.
Wait, are scholarships can be offered for being an equestrian, right?
Sometime. A little bit, a little not. It depends. There are colleges that have D1 programs for equestrian, and that's where that can come in. But because of how small that field is, you may not be able to see a lot of scholarships come in from it. Or you might not see a lot of riders actually going into those programs. A lot of people tend to either really stick with it and go all the way, and that means they would go pro, meaning they'd either go to college and actually ride in college, or they'd actually wouldn't go to college and truly be a professional in the sport, or they kind of stop and let it fizz out of their life.
Wow.
Yeah, so we need to fix that.
If
A little bit,
If
yeah.
you're watching this too, and you offer scholarships for equestrian, offer.
Please.
Please.
As a matter of fact,
Yes,
no,
you
not
need
even
to.
do it.
Do it.
Now.
You need to. Yeah.
All of her stuff is obviously going to be in the description box. So you
Yep.
should click those links, get her
Awesome.
information, and come on now, you see how amazing she is. You brought her.
Amazing.
Thank you,
brought
thank
her.
you.
Amazing.
Come
She's
on now.
amazing. Yes.
Is that and so? Is going pro is definitely something you want to do as being an equestrian?
I'm not sure. Going pro really is a big commitment in life. I'm not sure really where I want to go in my life just yet. But to be able to keep horse riding in my life, whether it be recreationally or competitively, I would love to have that.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, that's okay. You still got a lot of time.
I got
so-
time.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Hey, I can go pro later in life if I really wanted to.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Yep. What are 3 pointers you can give young ladies out there who are trying to be where you are right now?
I say, love what you do, have fun with it, and make each and every day as exciting as possible.
That's great advice.
It's great
That's
advice.
amazing
Yeah.
advice.
Y'all better be taking notes right there. Y'all
Yeah.
heard
You got your
everything
notepad?
she just said. Y'all can run it back, take those notes, and listen to that advice.
Like your
You
facts.
better have your
Yeah.
notepad in your hand right now.
Yeah, them some gems.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, man, you are an amazing, intelligent, very articulate.
Thank you,
well,
thank you.
like you are every positive thing under the sun, right? Honestly, It was a pleasure talking to you. You are amazing.
It's been a pleasure talking to you guys. Thank you so much.
Thanks for
And
coming
I wanna
on.
give a shout out to your dad also.
Oh, definitely.
Too, because he made our logo. You know that
Yup.
amazing logo y'all
Yeah.
see. You know he
Word
made
on
that
the
logo
street.
for us. So
We appreciate
the whole
that.
family.
Yep.
You know, they got the
Talented.
talent.
It
I gotta get
runs
it from
in
somewhere.
the family. It runs in the generation to generation. We love that. Thank you so much for that, by the way. So,
This pretty much concludes it.
That concludes
this episode. That actually pretty much concludes this episode of Word on the Street. Thank you so much, Zoe, for coming and
Thank
talking
you.
with us. This
Thank
is
you.
very
It's an
insightful,
honor.
very wonderful. Wonderful young lady we have here, okay? So make sure you are following her right now, checking out everything that she's doing, because it's all gonna be in the description box. So make sure you click every link down there. Every link.
Follow me at I am Zoie Noelle. I am ZoieNoelle on Instagram, and that's where you can find me.
Yeah. And make sure you go follow our personal socials and our Word on the Street socials
Absolutely.
as well.
Hey, shout out Compton Cowboys, Compton Junior Equestrians. You can find them also on Instagram. Randy's savvy for all he does. He's incredible. Check out his music. Check out his Insta. You can find him on all platforms. And also thank you, Dale Harvey with the West Palms team and the Michael Nighthouse Scholarship Foundation. They are a blessing. Thank you.
And also that, what is the name of the Beyonce video that she
Ooh, check out Be Alive by Beyonce.
Yes, and the documentary. Can you tell us a little bit about where they can check that out also? The documentary that you're in.
Totally. You can check out the GoPro documentary at Afropunk. You can see it on their Instagram. You can probably find it on the Sports Illustrated. You can find it everywhere, truly.
And the link will be in the description box. So yeah,
Definitely. You can click right there.
You can click that just like that.
Yes.
But yeah, make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff.
And
She said-
if you're new to the channel, subscribe and hit the bell so you always know when we're posting.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yes, jeans.
We out.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching.
Woo.